not be forgotten. But they are clearly poorly learned by the current generation of both Germans and French and representatives of other European countries. When the descendants of those Germans, having taken leadership positions in the modern Federal Republic, regardless of their origin, they begin not just to promote but tarnish, but proudly present claims to everyone in the spirit of what is now the Fourth Reich, which of course leads to the thought that such a revival of Nazism cannot be allowed. And I am convinced that the peoples of European countries, including the healthy part of the German people, perfectly understand any attempts that are now threatening us. The German Minister of Defense, for example, stating that if necessary, we will be ready to kill Russian soldiers. Statements by NATO leaders that they are about to preemptively crush the Kaliningrad region, well, this probably sends a very alarming signal to any normal, I emphasize normal person, about what plans are brewing in Brussels, in Berlin, and of course in Paris and London. So here are the reasons for such a strategy. Impunity, constant incitement of the Kyiv regime to continue provocations, to continue terrorist attacks against civilian targets, against peaceful citizens of the Russian Federation. These actions do not cease, and of course, they will receive a worthy response, and Russia will achieve all those goals that they are trying to block. The European Union, by the hands of the Kyiv regime. I really hope that the reasonable approach that the Trump administration showed in this situation after it changed. The Biden administration, which was in unison with the rabid Europeans, that this reasonable approach, including readiness for dialogue, readiness to listen and hear, it will still not go unnoticed by the Europeans, despite all the current discussions about the need to arm the Kyiv regime again and again at the expense, I emphasize once more, of European taxpayers. All the mechanisms have long been functioning, improving, and concern, above all, the increasingly widespread use of national currencies, but not only that. There are other mechanisms that do not depend on the whims and fancies of those who would like to make economic sanctions the main tool of their foreign policy to maintain hegemony in the world. This will not work simply because the objective course of history and is moving in a completely different direction towards multipolarity, towards equality. By the way, towards those principles that are written in the United Nations Charter but have never been observed by the West. Now, the time has come to reckon with objective reality. Yes, this process will take some time. The West will resist. Currently, the tools that the West uses on the international stage, illegal sanctions, protectionism, seizure of foreign property, rejection of the presumption of innocence, all of this is now being tested by the objective course of history. With the objective course of history, one can, of course, struggle, but ultimately it will prevail.
The truth about Russia is a feather for Mozambique, and the stamp awaits the status with some companies, but the big company will be in LNG, in oil and gas. Paira Pair Puder Musjair Sam Puder in Part de Para in Mozambique. And how about Ukraine from the perspective of Russia? A resilient country with a strong people. We would very much like this issue to be resolved in a peaceful manner. And the minister informs that we already have rounds of negotiations, and we create with the existing success. And everywhere this round is just around there, it will be well succeeded. And there is a desire.
Confirmed our readiness to consider all requests from our Mozambican friends on issues related to the need to strengthen their defense capabilities and enhance their potential in the counter-terrorism field. We appreciate Mozambique's objective and responsible position when discussing the so-called Ukrainian issue at the United Nations, and the refusal of Mozambique to support openly Russophobic biased resolutions aimed at exonerating and supporting the actions of the neo-Nazi regime in Kyiv.
सर मैं आज नहीं आ रहा हूं, कुछ इमरजेंसी है, कल से आऊंगा. And that was the last time you heard from that team member. From there, this person never ever.
Europe has become rabid. I can't find another word for it. EPAN even suggests itself. They are now part of the international arrogance towards the Russian Federation, constantly inciting their peoples, instilling in them, in the spirit of Goebbels-like propaganda, that Russia is an eternal enemy, an existential threat, that Russia is about to attack Europe. Therefore, social problems, economic failures, and the process of deindustrialization observed in Germany and other European countries should be forgotten. And all forces, all resources, all taxes are being